The headlines for tonight: Beijing stands in Philippines-China joint oil and gas development, saying they have made positive progress.
President Marcos signs law to suspend or reduce excise tax and takes effect after 15 days.
No to oil price hike coalition launches more transport strike and hold protests amid oil prices.
Ombudsman said to comply with the House subpoena requesting Vice President Sara Duterte's statement of assets, net worth, and liabilities.
And Iran Foreign Ministry acknowledges message exchanged with the United States but denies negotiations with President Donald Trump. Good evening, bringing the latest news for tonight. I am ALVIN PELOBELLO.
And I am KRIZZA Lopez. This is Eurotv News Thread. The details on our broadcast. The Chinese embassy in Manila says there has been positive progress in discussions with the Philippines on joint oil and gas exploration in the West Philippine Sea.
This comes as both sides signal openness to revive talks despite ongoing tensions in the disputed waters. Details on this report.
The Chinese embassy in Manila has been positive about the alleged reopening of talks between Manila and Beijing on the joint oil and gas explorations in the West Philippine Sea. In response to the Department of Foreign Affairs statement that the possibility of reopening the issue of exploration is not lost, in a statement Thursday, the Chinese embassy said that setting aside differences and working on joint development is the right way to pursue peace and stability in the region. These steps will benefit both the region and its people. According to the embassy, there have been more in-depth discussions between Manila and Beijing on oil and gas exploration in the South China Sea, and there has been positive progress. DFA Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro said Wednesday that although the president has not yet issued a directive on the exploration talks, there is a possibility of reopening the issue amid oil crisis due to the Middle East conflict. Lawmakers are divided on the issue, particularly on the trust to be given to Beijing amid tensions in the West Philippine Sea. The president has also said that he is open to negotiating with Beijing again on the issue, but the tensions could potentially affect the discussions. Palas, however, maintained that the Philippines was sincere in all of its negotiations and agreements with other countries under the Marcos administration.
So kung ano man po ang maaaring idulot ng anumang negosasyon at ito ay magiging maganda para sa Pilipinas, yan naman po ay hindi tututulan ng Pangulo. Ang sabi nga po ni Secretary Tess Lazaro, sa ngayon po ay wala pa pong joint exploration with China, pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na hindi magkakaroon. So open din po ang Pilipinas.
The dialogue between Philippines and China on the joint exploration of oil and gas in the West Philippine Sea was stalled in 2022 under the term of former President Rodrigo Duterte. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO reporting for Eurotv News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has signed a law allowing the suspension or reduction of excise taxes on petroleum products. The measure aims to ease the impact of rising global oil prices on consumers. Graciela Corazon reports.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has signed the law that gave him the power to reduce or suspend the excise tax on petroleum products. The Republic Act No. 12316, it aims to address the impact of fluctuation petroleum product prices amid the ongoing tension between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. The new law amends Section 148 of the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, which authorized immediate government action when the prices of Dubai crude oil based on the mean of Platts Singapore reaches or exceed $80 per barrel of oil within a month. According to the government, this is intended to reduce the impact of the increase in petroleum prices in the daily expenses of the citizens, especially in the most affected sectors. The president also stressed that there is no need to panic because he said everything is being done to solve the problem facing the country.
Some people will say, what are we thinking about this? Are we thinking about that? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? The best way I have to answer that question is nothing is off the table. We are looking at everything that we can do. And so whatever suggestion that has been brought to us, whatever idea that we have come up with, we are examining it very, very closely in great detail to see if it is going to be advantageous to our people.
He said that the government does not control the price of the oil in the world, but it is possible for the public to feel the weight of the country's problems. That is why he said everything is being done to address the problem facing the country. Meanwhile, the Development Budget Coordination Committee will have an important role in the implementation of the law, which will make recommendations to the President in collaboration with the Department of Energy or DOE. The temporary suspension or reduce of the excise tax on the crude oil will only last until December 31, 2028. Following this, the Department of Finance or DOF said that the executive order to reduce or suspend excise tax on the oil will be effective on April 12 or 13. He said 15 days of publication is required from the time it's signed by the President Bongbong Marcos for emergency power. He added that the Development Budget Coordination Committee has not yet met regarding this. This is Graciela Corazon for Eurotv News.
The Philippines and Japan have agreed to strengthen cooperation to help de-escalate tensions in the Middle East. Both countries are also working to ensure safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for global oil supply. More from this report.
Japan and the Philippines have agreed to work toward early de-escalation of tensions in the Middle East, particularly in ensuring safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. This was a result of a 20-minute telephone call between President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Japanese Prime Minister Takaishi Sanae, confirmed by Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Takaishi reportedly stressed the importance of coordination with the international community to ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, which is one of the important routes for global oil supplies. Marcos, on his part, explained the Philippines' position and efforts on the ongoing conflict. The two leaders also agreed to strengthen cooperation towards de-escalation of tensions in the Middle East. This follows Marcos's call for restraint and peace talks in the region, along with a call to respect international law and protect civilians. The Strait of Hormuz plays an important role in the global oil supply, including its impact on the Philippines. The coordination being carried out by the government also includes cooperation with other countries, including Japan, for oil supply. Meanwhile, oil supplies from Russia arrived in the country. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO reporting for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, transport groups stage a nationwide strike and protest as fuel prices continue to rise. Drivers and operators are calling on the government to take immediate action to ease the burden of high oil prices on their livelihood. Mia Layagi with the report.
Jeepney driver Tatay Celso have not plied his 2-decade-long Cubao-Divisoria route during the last 5 days. While he says he wants to operate to generate an income, he admitted that the over 120 pesos per liter of oil price has become too much to bear for drivers and operators like him.
Oo, mula nung maging tao ako, ito na pinakamalupit.
Gano'n mahirap to ngayon? Gano'n kabigat?
Napakahirap, sobrang hirap. Talagang sagaran sa hirap na to. Kaya nga, di na kami ginaganahan bumiyahe. Parang nag-iipon ka na lang, pambili ng crudo. Sabi, umikot ako 2. Medyo sumamba, raos na. Huwag ka na uikot ng madami kasi puro sa gasolina lang mapupunta yun. Isa, 2.
Bali ang pinabiyahe nyo na lang ngayon para lang talaga kayo.
Oo, makaraos lang.
He said that despite not operating, his children have all graduated, easing somehow his financial responsibilities. But he extended his sympathy to other drivers and operators who are being heavily burdened by the soaring high oil prices. While he opted not to operate today, Tatay Celso's jeepney is not parked in his garage. Rather, he took with him in the streets of Aurora Boulevard, Cubao, which is the main strike center for the nationwide transport strike kicked off on March 26. This is part of the series of transport strikes staged by different groups to condemn the continuous increase in oil prices in the country. The strike is not only joined by Piston, but by bus, TNVS, and taxi drivers as well. Piston National President Modi Floranda emphasized that this strike is joined by over 20 groups, which shows that it is not only the transport sector being affected by the crisis. They echoed calls to junk oil deregulation law, suspension of excise tax and VAT in oil, as well as oil price rollback to 55 pesos per liter. This is still aside from the calls to increase fare and salary of workers and condemning of the war in Middle East.
Tayo nilalawagan sa ating mga commuters, sa ating mga mamamayan, na ang laban ng driver ay hindi lang laban ng driver, ito'y laban ng mamamayan. Pagkat tayo ay pare-pareng biktima ng walang habas na pagtaas ng presyo ng petrolyo. Kaya napanawagan namin, lumabas sila ng bahay, lumahok sa mga marcha rally at mga protesito.
Tatay Celso likewise echoed this cause and asked the government to not let the transport group suffer from the crisis alone. He added that the assistance given by the government to PUV drivers should not be politicized.
Ngayon, dapat ibalanse nila yung pamasahe, medyo iangat. Pwede naman remedyohan kung gusto nila. Wala parang puro driver na lang nagpapasa ng sariling pasanin, di ba? Hindi naman natin pwedeng iasa parati sa commuter. Kawawa din yan. Iangat nila yung kinikita ng mga tao, medyo ibalanse. Tapos, dagdagan naman kami kahit na kaunti lang, hindi naman kami nag-aangat ng masyado malaki. Mga kaano lang. Pag nag-normal na, di balik mo sa dati, di ba? Parang palakasan yung ibang munisipyo, kailangan kuha ka pa ng barangay clearance. Kailangan butante ka sa kanila. Ano yung politika na naman? Ang daming nagpasa. Buti pa yung mga patay nabigyan, yung buhay hindi, di ba? Tapos kami, wala pa. Sana bigyan kami. Pero napakano lang yun, napakaliit. Hindi sasapat yun, napakaliit. Parang 2 araw mo lang kukonsumuhin yun. Pansamantala lang. Pero kabilang banda, makakatulong-tulong na rin.
While some were not able to join the protest personally, motorists who passed by the strike center honked their vehicles in unity with the chant of the protesters. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
Amid concerns over the distribution of fuel subsidies and cash aid, the palace has acknowledged discrepancies in the list of beneficiaries. Reportedly, there were drivers listed twice in the list. Here's the report.
While some drivers have yet to be included in the list of beneficiaries for cash assistance and fuel subsidy from the Department of Social Welfare and Development and Department of Transportation, the palace revealed that some names appear twice in the list. According to Palace Press Officer and Undersecretary Claire Castro, some drivers were also listed as motorcycle taxi drivers. She added that she has already coordinated with DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian and DOTR Secretary Giovanni Lopez regarding the issue.
Yan sa atin, ang lahat po na nakalista ay talaga mabibigyan po agad ng ayuda. Malamang po ang ibang nakalista ay meron po kasi daw nakakapagdoble. Let's say nasa tricycle and then nasa motor taxi pa rin.
Castro said that both agencies have agreed to schedule special payout days for tricycle, jeepney, and taxi drivers who were not included in the list or were unable to receive assistance.
Ari po nagkaroon ng double entry o kulang ng detalye ang kanilang mga pangalan o kaya ay hindi naman narehistro sa LTFRB. Pero sa utos ng Pangulo, walang maiiwan.
She emphasized that the president is balancing the distribution of aid across all sectors. This comes in response to concern raised by minimum wage earners on whether they will also receive assistance. The pala cited measures already implemented by the administration, including a 50% fare discount on trains in Metro Manila and efforts to prevent fare hikes in public transportation. However, Castro assured that the government is studying ways to extend assistance to other sectors affected by rising oil prices. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
The driver who collapsed during a cash aid payout in Quezon City is now stable condition. Authorities says he received immediate medical attentions and has since recovered. Catherine Landicho has more.
A driver who fainted during the cash relief assistance payout on March 25 at the Quezon Memorial Circle is now in stable condition. According to the Quezon City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, the driver has a seizure condition that caused him to lose consciousness. Emergency responders immediately provided first aid before rushing him to the Quezon City General Hospital for further evaluation and treatment. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, extended additional financial assistance, while the local government provided maintenance medication to help manage his condition. After true medical assessment, the driver and his family decided the hospital admission was no longer necessary. Meanwhile, the DSWD and the Quezon City government assured the public that the payout operations for drivers from various groups remain orderly, safe, and well organized. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Local government units are set to roll out free rice distribution in the coming days. The initiative aims to help communities cope with rising prices of basic goods. Vanessa Cleofas tells us more.
The local government units, or LGUs, are scheduled to distribute free rice to their respective residents. This was announced by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East and concerns over rising prices of basic commodities. According to the President, LGUs will begin distributing the free rice within the next 2 weeks. The funds for this initiative will come from the Local Government Support Funds, or LGSF. Under this program, LGUs are required to use a minimum of 50% of their LGSF to purchase rice for free distribution to their constituents. It is up to local government units if they wish to allocate 100% of the fund for this purpose. To further ensure food security in the country, the President assured that there is a sufficient supply of fertilizer for farmers for the next planting season based on the reports from the Department of Agriculture, or DA. Meanwhile, other measures being implemented by the government in response to surge in petroleum prices and declaration of a state of national energy emergency continue to support the agriculture sector. This includes the DA selling rice at 20 pesos per kilo at over 600 Kadiwa outlets, continuing rollout of fuel and fertilizer subsidies, and ensuring the country's rice buffer stock that will last an additional 10 days, amounting to approximately 379,000 metric tons. In addition, the Philippine Ports Authority, or PPA, has reduced fees for roll-on roll-off Ororo vessels carrying essential goods, while toll concessionaires on expressways have also implemented discounts. Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has granted truck ban exemption for cargo trucks and motor vehicles transporting essential and perishable goods. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
The Office of the Ombudsman says it will comply with House subpoena requesting Vice President Sara Duterte's Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth, or SALN. This is in line with the ongoing impeachment proceedings being tackled by the House Justice Committee. Mia Layagan returns for the details.
The House Justice Committee conducted on Wednesday the first hearing in relation to the impeachment proceedings of Vice President Sara Duterte. During the hearing, the committee ordered the issuance of subpoenas requesting the presence and obtaining of resource persons and materials. Among these is the issuance of subpoena duces tecum to the Office of the Ombudsman requesting a copy of Duterte's statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth or SALN. The impeachment complaints cited Duterte's alleged failure to fully disclose her assets, a matter of unexplained wealth cited as a ground for impeachment. On the Office of the Ombudsman's end, it expressed commitment to comply with the subpoena, which is part of the constitutional process of the impeachment proceedings. The subpoena seeks Duterte's SALN from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022, or from her time as the Davao Vice Mayor and Mayor until she became the Vice President. Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano said that under an Ombudsman memorandum, individuals can request for a public official SALN, more so if there is a subpoena. This rule is not only for Duterte but is applicable to all government officials. On the other hand, Clavano said that the cases filed against Duterte before the Office of the Ombudsman are already consolidated and are now under verification. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
As the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte continues to advance in the House of Representatives, a political group has condemned the actions of the Committee on Justice. They have called the continued proceedings unconstitutional, noting that the Senate holds the sole power to convene as an impeachment court. More from this report.
The PDP Laban expressed concern over the ongoing impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte. According to lawyer Ferdinand Topacio, the House committee is allegedly using the impeachment process to damage Duterte's reputation. He claimed that the House is abusing its authority from determining the sufficiency in form, substance, and grounds. The House Committee on Justice is now allegedly acting as a mini trial court to further deliberate on the complaint. Topacio stressed that it is the Senate's duty to try impeachment cases by convening as a trial court.
Dapat po sa Senado sitting as an impeachment court. So ito naman po ang proseso. Kung magpa-file under any of the two modes, kasi tatlong modes po yan eh. Yung isa po, pagka one-third, ay iba po ang proseso. But this was not, the impeachment complaints were not initiated under the last mode. Isa lang po verified complaint, and there's a member at verified complaint.
He also described the proceedings under Batangas Representative Jervy Luistro as a kangaroo court and star chamber.
Ang power ng either house, the House of the Senate and the House of Representatives, na mag-formulate ng rules na labag sa saligang batas, particularly the due process clause, the right against self-incrimination, and the right to remain silent.
PDP Laban member added that it is possible for the Supreme Court of the Philippines to issue a temporary restraining order to halt the proceedings citing alleged constitutional violations.
Walang legal kaya violate the Constitution. I suppose, ayaw natin pusin na hindi gumagalaw ang mga abogado ni Vice President to question all this in the court. Itong lahat ng mga violation. And in fact, I believe that if there is an immediate action, we can get an injunction or restraining order in all this violation of the House of Representatives.
Meanwhile, lawyer Jimmy Bondo clarified that no one instructed them to file a petition questioning the legality of the complaint, saying they are acting in the interest of justice. On Wednesday, Duterte's defense team reiterated that the House process is questionable, emphasizing that only the Senate has the authority to remove an official from the office. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
A group claiming to be former Marcos loyalists has declared support for a possible Sara-Chavit tandem in the 2028 election, stating they are shifting alliance as political dynamics continues to evolve. Henry Nicolas brings us the details.
The alleged former Marcos loyalists appeared before the media on Thursday to declare and pushes their support for Vice President Sara Duterte's presidential bid. The group is also pushing for a tandem between VP Sara and former Ilocos Sur Governor Chavit Singson for the 2028 elections. The so-called 1980s and 1990s loyalists compose of various sectors, specifically the masses of Northern Luzon, retired military personnel, religious groups, and various community leaders.
Banat dito, banat doon, iniintindi nila ang impeachment. Bakit kailangan ma-impeach si VP Sara Duterte? Dahil ito ay malaking trend sa kanila sa 2028.
Following Duterte's February 28 announcement of her presidential candidacy, the group led by a certain Ferdinand de los Reyes and other former loyalists immediately formed to declare their backing for a Duterte-Singson tandem.
Kami matatawag na mga binaligtad. Kasi ang mga Marcos loyalista nga ay nananatiling loyalista dahil ka nga. Kaya sila, madalas namin nakakatumbali sa mga post na inaano kami binaligtad daw. For clarification sa inyong mga Marcos loyalista, hindi po kami binaligtad. Kami lamang po ay may tunay na pagmamahal sa bansang Pilipinas.
Among the reasons for withdrawing support from President Marcos are the country's current struggles with poverty, as well as alleged abuses and political abuse. The group believes that by defecting from the Marcoses, the solid North vote held by the president will finally crumble. They added that the support from the South has also evaporated due to the rift between the Dutertes and the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte by the Hague.
Dahil po ngayon ang mga grupo ko, solid North, ang hindi ko inaano yung Ilocandia, no? Ang North, pag sinabi ng North, Luzon. Pag sinabi natin na South, Mindanao, Central, Visayas. So tayo, ginawa natin ngayon, buong Norte, mula dito sa Region 4, B, A, B, hanggang doon sa Region 2, Region 1. Lahat yan, meron tayong mga leader dyan, kumikilos na. So, hindi nga nila masasabi na sila ay solid North dahil ang meron tayo ngayon ay Duterte solid North.
As of now, Singson and Duterte hasn't released a statement regarding the group's endorsement, and the group admits they have not yet spoken directly with the two leaders. Henry Nicolas reporting for Eurotv News.
A lawmaker is pushing for stronger legislation to protect women's rights in the country. The proposed measures aim to address gender inequality and emerging forms of abuse. Vanessa Cleophas returns for the details.
As part of this year's celebration of Women's Month, which recognizes the contributions of women in the country, Cavite 2nd District Representative Lani Mercado Revilla emphasized the importance of passing the bills she is advocating in Congress, which are focused on protecting women from the challenges they face amid changing times. One of this is House Bill 257, which aims to provide women with equal pay, benefits, promotion, opportunities, and other rights equal to those of men, regardless of gender. Under this measure, discrimination in the workplace would also be eliminated so that women can receive recognition without being limited by their gender or compared to men. House Bill 6305, on the other hand, seeks to remove the forgiveness clause in the current law, ensuring the continued prosecution of offenders and preventing them from escaping liability simply because the victim has forgiven them.
Tinatanggal po natin yung forgiveness clause dahil gusto nating ibalik sa kababaihan ang karapatan nila. We have to subject the perpetrator to criminal charges dahil hindi dapat mapanghinaan ng loob ang biktima na hindi na uusigin ang perpetrator ng batas. May criminal liability pa rin. At karaniwan minsan ang mga kababaihan na biktima ng pangmolestya o rape, minsan ay kumbaga napapawalang sala na yung perpetrator kapag sila ay pakakasalan o lalagyan ng pananagutan o bibigay ng pananagutan ng kanilang pagkakasala. Still, if you are still in the bounds of marriage, hindi pa rin dapat nawawala yung criminal liability na ito ng perpetrator.
In addition to this, the Congresswomen has several other proposed measures including House Bill 8195 or the Women's Health and Wellness in the Workplace Act, House Bill 7539 or the Child and Spousal Support Act, House Bill 2335 or Unang Yakap Act, House Bill 4140 or Breastfeeding in Emergencies, and House Bill 5642 or amendments to the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Law. These measures aim to expand the definition of VAUC, particularly in the digital space, which has increasingly become a platform where abuse and violations of the right of women and children occur.
We already have the digital world, as we call it. Kaya dapat bigyan ng pagpapahalaga o prioridad at description ang violence against women and children sa digital space. Kilalanin at bigyan ng karapatan ang mga kababaihan na mabigyan ng hustisya.
This year, it can be recalled that Congresswoman Lani was appointed as Internal Vice President of the Association of Women Legislators Foundation, Inc. in the 20th Congress. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the oath-taking ceremony of the Congresswomen, who will continue to implement programs and projects for women and children. They will also serve as the voice and defenders of every Filipina across the country who continue to experience abuse, violence, and other forms of harm. Meanwhile, Kong Lani personally received recognition from the Gawad Filipino Awards with Team Babae Ka, symbolizing women who continue to uphold the welfare of all women. She is among the women from various sectors including uniformed personnel, public servants, local officials, the business industry, media personalities, and others who were also honored with the same award. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
State Weather Bureau Pag-asa is warning of a possible El Nino developing in the coming months. The agency says this could lead to dry spells and drought in several parts of the country. Catherine Landicho returns for the details.
Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration has warned of a possible weak to moderate El Nino developing in the country within the next 6 months, which may bring reduced rainfall and increase the risk of drought in several areas. El Nino is a weather phenomenon characterized by warmer sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific, affecting weather pattern across the globe, including the Philippines. Based on Pag-asa data, the following probabilities are expected on June to August: that's 62% chance of weak El Nino. September to November, 56% chance of a moderate El Nino. While on October to December, 60% probability of a moderate El Nino with an 83% chance of persisting until the end of the year. With this development, many parts of the country may experience below normal rainfall, potentially leading to dry spell or drought condition. This could adversely affect agriculture and water supply. However, Pag-asa clarified that western section of the country may still experience that above normal rainfall due to the southwest monsoon. The agency is urging the public and concerned government office to prepare early and conserve water to minimize the potential impact on El Nino on livelihood and public health. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Farmers in Catanduanes are set to benefit from new equipment provided by the Department of Agrarian Reform. The support is expected to boost productivity and improve their livelihoods. Carlos Concha has more.
Vegetable farmers in Pandan, Catanduanes are expected to increase their harvest and income after the Department of Agrarian Reform provide farm equipment to a local farmers group. According to the Department of Agrarian Reform, a hand tractor and water pump unit were turned over to the Lumabao Aksyon sa Kasaganaan Asosasyon Incorporated Lakas. The equipment, worth around 140,000, will help farmers prepare their land faster and ensure a steady water supply for their crops. The agency said these resources are essential in improving productivity and strengthening farmers' livelihoods. Members of the association also underwent training on the proper use and maintenance of the equipment. Department of Agrarian Reform added that the initiative is part of the Climate Resilient Farm Productivity Support Program, which aims to help farmers adapt to climate-related challenges. I'm Carlos Concha for Eurotv News.
The Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group has ramped up its campaign against online fraud, filing 86 estafa cases, and 16 individuals have been arrested due to scamming. Jabesha Gochuico has the report.
The Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group has intensified its campaign against online scams, following dozens of recorded cases and a series of arrests across the country. A total of 84 estafa cases were referred by the PNP-ACG from January to February 2026, with 82 filed through regular filing and 2 submitted for inquest proceedings. During the same period, 16 individuals were arrested for alleged involvement in online fraud, particularly for violations of Article 315 in relation to the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. According to the PNP-ACG, 14 of the suspects were arrested by the virtue of warrant of arrest, while 2 were apprehended during entrapment operations. Investigations revealed that the suspect used various online platforms to defraud victims, including online selling scams and fraudulent investment schemes promising quick financial gains. This forms part of the intensified campaign of the PNP under the leadership of PNP Chief PGE and Melentius C. Nardotes Jr., in line with the directive of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to protect the public against cybercrime. The PNP-ACG also urged to the public to remain vigilant, exercise caution in online transaction, and immediately report to any suspicious activity to the authorities. This is Javesha Gochrico for Eurotv News.
Iran's foreign minister confirms that messages are being exchanged with the United States. However, he maintains that this should not be considered formal negotiations between the two countries. Son Santiago with the report.
Iran foreign minister says there are no formal negotiations with the United States, although he confirms that messages have been exchanged between the two sides. In an interview with state television, Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said his government has not engaged in direct talks with Washington. However, he acknowledged that the U.S. has been sending messages through the help of what he described as friendly countries. Araghchi stressed that these should not be considered negotiations but simply an exchange of messages. He also questioned the shift in Washington's position, pointing out that the U.S. had previously demanded Iran's unconditional surrender and is now calling for talks. Meanwhile, an anonymous Iranian official quoted by state media said Tehran has rejected a U.S. proposal aimed at ending the war. The proposal, widely referred to as a 15-point plan, reportedly includes easing sanctions on Iran, limiting its nuclear and missile programs, and reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Upon rejecting, Iran has outlined its own conditions. This includes stopping attacks on its leaders, guarantees against future military action, and full control over the Strait of Hormuz. Despite these developments, U.S. President Donald Trump continues to insist that Iran wants a deal. He claimed Iran is eager to reach an agreement, but is hesitant to say so publicly.
And they want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people. They're also afraid they'll be killed by us.
This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
Fans of Harry Potter have something new to look forward to this year. The official teaser for the upcoming Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone series has now been released ahead of its Christmas premiere. Sam Martos has the report.
There is nothing special about you.
That is the official teaser for the new era of the film Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone that was shared on their YouTube account, where this is the first season of the upcoming movie, which has reached more than 4 million views. The film is part of its 25th anniversary celebration, and it is different from the original version released in 2001. It can be remembered that British actor Daniel Radcliffe starred as Harry in the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, along with several other cast such as Rupert Grint as Ron, Emma Watson as Hermione, and many more. Meanwhile, Dominic McLaughlin will take on the role of the new Harry Potter in the upcoming series Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which will have 8 episodes. The series is set to premiere during the Christmas season this year on HBO Max. This is Sam Martos for Eurotv Showbiz News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit yourtvph.com for more news and information. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez.
You may also catch our live broadcast through our social media accounts and via an Extreme channel. I am ALVIN PELOBELLO. Thanks for joining us. This is Eurotv News Thread. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone. You have deployments tomorrow?